Mike? Oh, that's right, Joshua.
Hello.
How you doing? Keep it close.
All right. So we're talking about our how I feel about change and like our desires and our faith and that's lack of faith in my scenario.
Agreed. But maybe we need to put it for many of us. The problems are lack of desire, lack of faith, no action, and no wanting to feel emotion. So
That's
I agree.
me to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's been my whole life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Every waking moment. I was prompted to ask a question because there's been a lot of stories about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've been sexually abused, but I've kind of like on the other end of the scale where I've wanted to do the abuse
Yep.
to children, and
Yep.
there's a term called like a non-exclusive attraction to children and whatnot there.
Yep.
And,
Gotcha. So what's the question?
why do I have this desire in me? And like
Very simple reason for you. What kind of gender of the child do you feel pulled towards?
female.
Yeah. So you got your relationship with your mum and you, right? It's you, your mum. What was your mum like?
Asked me a couple of years ago, which is just great.
Yeah, I know you would have. Because a couple of years ago, she was giving you everything you wanted, right? How did you feel a couple of years ago? Why?
Oh, I've been running away from my family, I think, for a few years.
Yeah.
How did? I suppose she looked after me.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
100%. Cooked,
Yeah.
clean, did my homework when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like when the assignments were coming late.
Yeah. Like, full on, eh?
Oh yeah, she was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing, is you're afraid to have a relationship with an adult woman
Yes.
because an adult woman is just going to overcome you, take over your entire life. You follow? She's going to
I'm not fine, but I'm listening.
Yeah, an adult woman is going to take over your entire life, is the way you believe, what you believe. Your adult woman is going to be like your mother.
Yeah.
She's going to take over your entire life, do everything for you. Like basically,
All my addictions can go because she's gonna
she'll do all that, but she'll also be overbearing and controlling and dictate to you what's going to
Which
happen
is
in your
probably
life.
what like a lot of my friendships with other people have been like.
Yep.
Okay, they'd look after me, they'd care for me, they'd cook for me.
Yeah.
I'd do bloody bugger all.
Yeah.
And like then I'd be like, well, I hate you
Because they've what?
because they've been loving to me.
Well, no. A lot of
No,
times,
sorry, not loving.
a lot of times it's not love, but it is. They are doing things for you that you would normally, most people would be thankful for, but you have an expectation that this is what happens. Obviously, right?
Yeah, I must do because it keeps on happening.
Correct. So and that happens with males and females, doesn't it? That particular issue.
Yes.
Yes. So that particular issue is more evenly associated. I'm talking now about the sexual issue. The sexual issue. How does your mum view you as a sexual person? Can I ask you this question? Was your father in your life at any point in this time?
Not much as a kid, no.
No. And is he now?
No.
No. And how? What was the relationship between your mum and your dad?
They separated when I was 8 years
Yep.
old.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what it was like when they were there, but after that there was like very much like it's his fault or it's her fault or like he's a
Constant bickering between the two
Yes.
of them and so forth. Yeah. Yep. So what's happened is you're very afraid of having an adult relationship.
I can hardly even approach women sometimes because I even noticed that like most of my interactions were like purely like it seemed to be like all I wanted was sex. And like that was my whole entire kind of like basis for even relationships, like righto. And then I stayed in a few relationships and love, it was infatuation, I think.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of used them up and chewed them out, spat them out, and went to the next one.
Yep. So you're being pretty honest, Joshua. That's very good. So the key now for yourself is to see that you want to emotionally avoid adult relationships. All right. And in the process of avoiding adult relationships, you still desire sexual interaction.
Yeah, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
My hands are getting sore.
Yeah. So fair enough. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's done me, that one. No. So basically what you really desire You don't want to be lonely. Like you have a desperate need to not be lonely.
Yeah, like I've only felt that lonely feeling maybe like 3 times in my life, and that was maybe for me like 30 seconds, and I'm like straight out the door to like a friend's house or whatever it may have been.
Yeah, something. So the question you asked was, how can you change? Well, firstly, you need to have a desire to change. And right at the beginning, you need to face some truth about the situation, which I feel you're actually doing. But you're facing truth about how you feel, but you're not facing the truth about your relationship with your mother at this point, because that's what's generated a lot of this underlying emotion. Your mother is emotionally incestuous with you.
Oh yeah, she's like my little baby boy, and I'm like, yeah, I hate you.
Yeah.
But I haven't said that.
I know. But she says that to you all the time, doesn't she? Little baby boy.
Yeah, I started kind of pulling up on her last time I seen her, but it wasn't very assertive with it. I was like, oh, don't do that. And I was like, shut up.
Yeah. You're very afraid of her, actually. Very afraid of disappointing her and so forth. Now, all of those fears that you have going on with the woman now cause you to focus your attention on a girl child, because there's someone who you can control. There's someone who you can have some power over.
And so it's really easy to. It's only kind of one of those things I've realised recently of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's only been the last maybe 6 months to a year where I've been kind of actively trying to be like to delve into this here, and before I just kind of let it happen, and I never said no.
Yeah. And this is and you're also getting severely influenced by spirits who want you to do the same thing.
I think
So what I'm suggesting to you is it's an issue of power. You don't have any power with adult women, and so you want power over child women. Do you understand?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So what you need to do is develop a desire to address this issue of power. It's a severe issue within you. You understand? It's very severe.
Yeah, I want to appease them and serve them, women. Well,
adult women, yes.
Yes.
But see, this is you just feeding the addiction.
Okay.
Right. The adult women, I agree, but not the child women.
Yes, I agree
you want
with that
total
too.
control of them.
Yes.
Yeah. The girl children, you want total control over. Very serious issue for you on a number of levels, right? So my suggestion for you is to focus on this powerless emotion that you feel with your mother. Right? You need to work your way through that emotion as soon as you possibly can.
Before kind of coming up here, I was kind of like, on the way back after this year, I really need to go see Mum and be like, don't want to feel obligated to send your husband a message on his birthday. Damn it.
Well, it's not only that. You need to address the emotion, not just take the action. So you're going to have to feel some pretty hurt childhood emotions here where you feel totally powerless with women. Do you understand? Because at the moment, you're not addressing those emotions.
I don't understand.
Yeah. The men who desire to abuse children of the opposite gender have an emotion of power with the opposite gender, with their opposite gender parent. The men who desire to abuse children of the same gender have an emotion of power with the same gender parent. So in other words, if you're a male and your mum's a female and you have an issue of power with your mother, right, you will tempt to take that out on girls. If you had a problem with your father, an issue of power with your father, where your father takes complete power over you, then you'll have an issue with boys. Does that make sense? So the issue you're facing is power in regards to the feminine gender. And all that spirits are doing here is hooking into the sexual drive.
Yeah, like right down here.
Yeah. So, but it's actually to do with worth and power that the issue is that you've got to resolve. Right. Okay. So it's a very serious problem, as you know, and something that you need to address as soon as you possibly can, because it harms lots of people.
Yeah.
And it's certainly something that you need to address. But you need to understand that the real thing you need to address is your true feelings with your mother. And you need to feel them rather than avoiding them. And even if you take some action, that'll help you feel them, but it won't help you feel them if you choose to not feel the emotion. you're going to have to choose to feel the emotion.
So having a chat to mum and like, because it's going to do something, but it's not really going to like.
Yeah, having a chat to mum is highly unlikely in that situation that you'll feel your emotion at that time, because your mum has been suppressing your emotional responses for all of her life.
And I started seeing that more so with how she is towards my sister's daughter, who's about this high, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I kind of see some of those interactions. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
She like let her cry. Oh yeah, wherever it may be.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my suggestion to you, is to address that. Now, to do that, you're going to have a desire to address it. You're going to also have to have a desire to not sin anymore with regard to this issue, right?
Still an issue.
Yeah, so because it's still a feeling in you.
Still a desire I have within me.
Yeah, so you're going to have to develop a desire to address it, right? To have some faith that you can work through it, because you can. There's been many people that I know that have worked through these issues. Most of them are not here on earth, unfortunately, after they've passed. You're going to have to take some action that's positive, and you're going to have to feel some emotion, and that's the big one for you. You do not wish to feel the emotion of powerlessness.
No.
That is your biggest issue.
And I can look at my pet dog. Well, I think so, because she like wants to dominate everything, every piece of furniture, every other dog. She gets up there and she's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and I've been kind of going for the last few weeks. I'm like, oh, what does that mean for me? Like, why is she doing that? Like, how does it reflect me? And the other day I'm like, oh, maybe she's like, well, it's kind of pretty clear. I suppose she wants to be dominant. She wants to dominate everything.
Yes, and that comes from a feeling of powerlessness to do that inside of yourself.
It's funny almost.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's the opposite emotion. And your powerlessness exists with women. Right? And this is why you avoid adult relationships. Yep. Because any time you enter an adult relationship, the feeling is and what you finish up creating is exactly the same as a relationship you have with your mother.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's marry the mother type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So your sincerity in addressing the issue of powerlessness is going to cause your change. So, but you can see again, it requires the same steps, really, the same steps that the little child would engage to address something that it wants to do. It has to have a desire, has to have some faith that it can happen, and so forth. And unfortunately, you're getting quite severely impacted by spirits as well. But you don't realise that these spirits are just taking power over you. So you're actually giving them power.
I had a moment where I haven't given up cigarettes yet. Where I walked out front there and I had a cigarette through our 20-minute break there.
Yep.
And there was a child and a mother kind of coming by there, and the child kind of runs out like, ha ha ha, I tricked you.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I was drawn into that kind of situation to be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this like, are these guys kind of like talking to me like, ha ha, I tricked you, Josh, ha ha.
Yeah.
You thought you wanted to come out here just for a cigarette, but there's actually like a child over there, and there's another one like passing the road over there, the mother kind of carrying it, and there's another one coming over through there. So I put myself in that situation. Yeah,
and the spirit, you're able to listen to the spirits who guide these particular situations to your sight. You wouldn't on your own be able to know where children are at any point in time. You're not that sensitive emotionally, but they tell you and you're willing to listen to them.
Yeah, because the hook kind of goes...
Yeah, you're willing to listen to them because it meets your unhealed addiction. Right? So that's the other thing you're going to have to confront, the willingness to listen to people who are way out of harmony with love, and all they want to do is to have you harm others in order to have their addictions met. Yeah.
So pretty much everyone in my life, just about.
Yeah, well, this is where a lot of people who are in your situation, Josh, don't understand that actually the more they try to attempt to gain power over others, the more others actually finish up having power over them. And this is something that you're not really appreciating at this stage. You're opening yourself to women's spirits and men's spirits having a lot of power over you. The women's spirits are just like your mother, and the men's spirits have very similar unhealed emotions with regard to the sexual side of things. And they manipulate your entire life. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up like in a very bad situation potentially life-threatening if you keep going the way you're going. And certainly, certainly harmful enough to land you in prison for a long, extended period. So my suggestion to you is to develop the desire to disconnect yourself from these particular spirits, but also address the issue of powerlessness with your mother, because that's the underlying.
And working obviously through simple things such as physical addictions like drinking, alcohol, pot. It's a start, but it's not. It's I need to do that.
You need to do that because they assist you to make these poor decisions. But these are ways that spirits that are manipulating you in order to help you make the poor decision. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
So you've got very little desire to control your own actions at this point.
It would seem that way.
Yeah. And my suggestion is you're going to have to develop a much more stronger desire.
Yeah. Keep on and keep myself away from situations that.
Not just keeping yourself away, but also dealing with the addiction itself. Do you see? It's like the stuff with your mother is, if you address that will deal with the addiction itself, the power, the desire for power over people who are smaller than you, is the primary addiction. It's a sexual power that you're looking for, and that's the primary addiction because you feel like your mother has taken sexual power over you, basically, and you don't want to address that particular issue.
Yeah, I've never.
Anyway, I think we've discussed it enough, but but thanks for being honest about it.
Thank you for the insight.
My pleasure. Thalia. I'm already past time, actually.
Josh and I have had an interesting law of attraction because complete strangers attracted to living in the same house. And I have actually, been sexually abused.
By an older man?
Yeah, by my cousin who was older than me. And so, I have a lot of trauma going on at the moment. So I've had a lot of issues with men sexually projecting at me lately.
Yeah.
And, I guess I haven't delved into that yet, that aspect of what happened to me in my life properly. So
the law of attraction is an amazing thing, isn't it? Not?
Yeah.
Of 70 people, you end up with a person who's the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. Isn't it interesting? So this demonstrates that obviously there's healing to occur for yourself too. And I
just don't know where to start with it.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck because I feel now what we're doing is talking about specific individual childhood issues.
Cool.
And while it was good to do that with Josh with regard to that issue because he's raised it, but my feelings are I've said a lot about dealing with sexual abuse issues.
Sure.
And both myself and Mary have had to address sexual abuse issues, so we both know and understand what's required. But it is a lot to do, again, with power and a feeling of powerlessness. And it's to do with sexual power, right? So when a man sexually projects at you, you no longer feel in control sexually, right? So there's got to be reasons why that feeling occurs, and that's why you get angry about it when they do it. You follow?
Yeah, I do.
And the key, again, is to work through, again, desire to address it. Now, there's a lot of sexual abuse issues. Most people I've observed have very little desire to address it and deal with it, and in fact have a strong desire to keep angry about it instead. And I see a lot of you doing that. Those of you who have been sexually abused, I see a lot of you just staying angry because that's your desire, to stay angry, thinking that it's protective, but it's actually not. Yep. Because an angry person ends up being like Joshua's mother was like. And so you finish up creating the next generation of abusive children, right, when you're like that. And this is the danger of the cyclic danger of what occurs. You follow? Something happened to Joshua's mother that caused her to want to have total sexual domination over Josh, and as a result, he now feels so sexually out of himself that now he's desiring sexual control over women. Girls, not women. And this cycle continues to occur while we hold on to these particular emotions. So all I can do again is say basically the same thing I said to Josh: exercise a desire to deal with the issue, have some faith that you can resolve it and release it completely, take some actions that are going to mean that you're going to have to feel some emotion. And one action obviously is this attraction, that you have the ability right in your own place that you're staying in to discuss with the guy what's driving him, what's going on for you. He can hear from you about how much it's harmed you, and this will help him to understand the need to address the issue. Does that make sense? So this is a great thing, to be able to work your way through these issues. The key is to desire that, is to actually desire to work through those particular issues. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.